Taken into custody for no reason at all, in clear violation of law and the Constitution of the United States, for simply walking down the street and looking like he's Somali.
Okay?
No, it's not okay. It's not okay.
What happened?
They put a spray in his eye.
If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It's important to me and I appreciate it. So we have a U.S. citizen in Minnesota claiming to have been unlawfully arrested by ICE. And we also have a statement from the mayor there in Minneapolis. But first I want to show Tom Homan in a Newsmax interview and show you how seriously he takes his job as border czar.
According to the Secretary, Kristi Noem of DHS, she said nearly 50% of the visas are fraudulent in this community. I mean, that would mean that half the Somali refugees are here in some way illegally. What's going to happen? Is something actually going to happen? Are there going to be people stripped of their visas, deported? Are we going to see that?
Absolutely. I mean, those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House.
Tom Homan's not playing.
We're going to look at all of them. I mean, we're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't properly vetted.
Which is exactly what should happen. People that we've seen the results, we've seen the evidence. People who were not properly vetted, led into the country, have committed terrible crimes, murders. We cannot allow that to continue. So the visas that were given under Joe Biden with very little to no vetting are going to be re-examined, and I think that's the right thing for the U.S. government to do and should have been done correctly in the first place. But I'm glad to see they're going to go back and at least try to correct that huge mistake by the Biden administration.
There's so many claims of a racist element to this story, and when we're talking about a certain subsection of refugees into this country, but it bears reminding to people that it wasn't very long ago at all that Americans expected that people that came to our country would contribute to the cause, would assimilate to our culture and to who we are. And we're just not seeing that at all in this community. We're seeing a community that's largely hostile to our culture, wants to bring in an Islamic culture into our nation, while doing so and staying vastly on the dole, on some kind of assistance, taking more than they contribute. Knowing all of that, here's Ilhan Omar on our immigration system under this president and the job that you're doing.
This is certainly not what the founding fathers of the American dream were thinking about when they said, that when they set out to write the Constitution.
I think she's absolutely wrong. I think the founding fathers expected people to come to the United States from other countries and create a new country together as Americans, not to have little pockets of different communities all throughout the country where this country, Somalia, is represented in this area, and other countries represented over here, and everybody just stays together in their own little area, and they don't really want to participate in American way of life or American traditions or anything else. They want to maintain their old way of life from their old country and preserve that and promote that in the United States. And I just think that's a totally wrong approach for an immigrant coming to the United States. You should really embrace the idea of becoming an American and becoming an American citizen. Or if you want to keep to your old ways and live in your own communities, I don't understand why you want to go to the United States in the first place. And I think a lot of Americans feel that way. If you're going to come to America, become an American, live as an American, act as an American, and adapt American customs and traditions. Otherwise, I don't understand why you're coming.
Assimilation is important, and it's going to be required. Not only that, when they come here under a legal program, they're required to be self-sufficient. They have to prove they're self-sufficient. So a lot of them, first thing they're doing to get here is get on the public dole. President Trump put his foot down, and like I said earlier, we're doing a deep dive on thousands and thousands of files, and we'll hold people accountable. And you know, I'm so tired of them pulling the race card all the time, you know,
Right.
because we're doing this racist. ICE has arrested people
They do it because it's effective.
from
A lot of
180
people buy
different
into
countries. Europe, Asia, South America.
Every color
They're
you
not
can
just
imagine.
arresting brown and black
Yeah.
people. They're arresting people from all over the world. You know, the immigration enforcement is colorblind. Title 8 United States Code, Title 18 United States Code, the Immigration Nationality Act, what that says, we're enforcing without apology. That's the way it's supposed to be. As a member of Congress, she should respect that we're enforcing the laws that Congress enacted.
Love or hate ICE, they're following the law, they're enforcing the law, and just as he said, Ilhan Omar knows what the law is. She's in Congress. She should be supportive of what they're doing, enforcing the law, but instead she fights against them every step of the way. And, you know, of course, the claims of racism appeals to a lot of people in the United States, so that's why they use that. That's why they use the white supremacy rhetoric all the time and claims of racism, because it's an emotional thing that a lot of people react to in a positive way for them. So if it didn't work, they wouldn't use it. But unfortunately, it does work with a lot of people.
Last question, and it's something that we don't actually talk about too much because right now it feels unneeded because they're doing such a great job at the border. How's the wall going? I mean, is the wall going to be finished in this president's term when he leaves? And maybe we get a Democrat in 2028 potentially. Are we going to have a border that can't be, we're not going to have to worry about?
Contractors on the wall right now. That is the plan. Matter of fact, I'm leaving this week to go look at a couple of sections of the wall that are currently under construction. So yeah, thanks to Congress, that big beautiful bill, we got the wall funding. Contracts are signed and additional ones are being signed. We're going to finish that wall.
Going to finish that wall. I'd love to hear that. Border Czar Tom Homan, good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great to hear because, you know, as you know, when Donald Trump tried to start building the wall in 2016, Democrats fought him every step of the way. And as soon as he was out of office, wall construction stopped, materials were wasted. They have no interest in sealing the border, putting up a wall. But when it benefits them to be pro-border security, they will act like they've been in favor of it since day one. But we all witnessed that. We saw what happened with the Democrats in the wall. They were not for that at all. So we saw how serious Tom Homan is about his job and the job that ICE agents are doing, and how we know how serious they are about their job, right? So there was a U.S. citizen who was arrested in Minneapolis, claiming to be arrested unlawfully by ICE. But I want to show you guys first a little bit of what ICE agents are up against there in Minnesota and why it's feasible for an American citizen to get caught up in this and be arrested. Of course, if you're participating in some of this behavior I'm about to show you, that's grounds for an arrest.
Get off the street! Get off the street! I'm gonna tell you again. Take your mask off!
You got sprayed?
On the eye, yeah.
Are you okay?
No. He's not okay. He's not okay.
What happened?
They put the spray in his eye.
He's the victim. So here's a video of the man who was claiming to be unlawfully arrested by ICE agents. Kind of really hard to tell what all was going on in this video, but I'll show you the video that I was able to find. So why these people are out here doing this, I don't understand. You think they would have better things to do, but they're out there in the street blocking traffic. They're hitting the ICE vehicles as they go by. And this is actually fairly calm compared to a lot of the videos we've seen about how people react to ICE agents. But if you're out there doing that kind of stuff, I'd like to see them all arrested. Of course, it's not possible. The ICE agents have their job to do that they're trying to get done, and they have to deal with these lunatics out there on a daily basis. But yeah, I'd like to see them all arrested. So I can understand if this guy that claims he was unlawfully arrested was involved in this type of behavior. Yeah, I can see why they picked him up, but that's not exactly what he's claiming happened. So let's hear what he has to say. So of course it's a little bit disturbing to see someone being arrested, but that's what happens when you get arrested. I think ICE is going to continue doing their job. They're not going to stop. And if people are going to respond this way to ICE, it's going to continue to be like this. It's going to continue to look this way, with people being arrested and people surrounding the agents, filming and yelling while it's all happening. But hard to tell really from the video what's going on there. There's no way of knowing why they decided to handcuff this person. Not sure if he was actually detained or arrested. You really can't tell. But let's hear his side of the story.
My name is Mubashir, and I never expected to be standing in front of all these cameras and microphones. But what happened to me cannot stay quiet. What happened to me was unjust, uncalled for. I was simply on my lunch break. I literally went downstairs from my building. I wasn't even outside for mere seconds before I seen a masked person running at me full speed. He tackled me, pushed me inside the restaurant, like as you can see in the video. I told him I'm a U.S. citizen, what is going on? He didn't seem to care. He dragged me outside through the snow while I was handcuffed, restrained, helpless, and he pushed me to the ground, and he put me in a chokehold. That was very uncalled for. I thought I got really hurt. And after that, they put me inside the vehicle.
That's what happens a lot of times when you're being detained or arrested and you resist. You might wind up on the ground. You might wind up in a chokehold or some kind of hold. You may have the feeling like you're being kidnapped. This is kind of what happens a lot of times if you're being detained or arrested and maybe you're resisting. Things get a little bit physical, and sounds like maybe that's likely what happened here. But again, I don't know. We're going to have to learn a lot more. But I'm wondering also why another bystander just happened to have a copy of his passport on their cell phone. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. So a lot of murky details in this story, but I'm sure we'll find out more as we go along. But just because you're a U.S. citizen does not mean you can't be detained or arrested by ICE if you're interfering or if you're not cooperating with them. I think it's justified that you could be detained or even arrested depending on the facts of the case. But I'm sure we're going to find out more.
And they asked me, we have to verify if you're a U.S. citizen because I believe you're an illegal citizen because you ran from me. But as you can see in the videos that will be released, I'm simply just standing still. I asked them, okay, they said, let me take a picture of you to scan your face to see if you're a U.S. citizen. I declined.
So, it's hard to tell really what happened exactly. We'll learn more, I'm sure, next couple of days or so. He's claiming he was doing nothing wrong. He's just standing there. But he did say that the ICE agent claimed that he ran from him. So, it's hard to imagine that they just attacked this man for no reason and arrested him and then let him go later. I think there's a lot more to this story. It could be that they wanted to detain him, or maybe they wanted to talk to him and he ran away, which gives them to me, every right to detain him or arrest him. We don't know what happened. We don't know what he was doing before the altercation, and we don't know what was going through the ICE officer's mind, but we do see the kind of environment that they have to operate in. But, we've heard this kind of thing too many times from the media, from Democrat politicians, where someone will have a claim like this. They will buy into it 100%, and then we learn later that it's not exactly what happened. So I'm going to wait and see what the facts are on this before judging ICE or judging this person. But for me, it's hard to imagine that this happened the way that he's claiming it happened. But the mayor, he's all in on this story. He doesn't need to hear anything else. He knows that ICE did wrong, and he's tired of it.
What you very clearly saw in that video was Mubashir, an American citizen, someone who has been here
To me, it wasn't
nearly
that clear.
his entire life, tackled, handcuffed, taken into custody for no reason at all, in clear violation of law and the Constitution of the United States, for simply walking down the street and looking like he's Somali.
Okay, so the mayor claims they stopped him simply because he was walking down the street looking like he was Somali. Now, I can pretty much guarantee that's not what happened, and I will be shocked if we find out that that's what happened.
This should make every single person in America, whether you are a Democrat or Republican, livid. For those that believe in the work of the founding fathers, for those that believe in the maintenance and endurance of our republic, for those that want to stand up for justice, now's the time to be speaking out. Because I've got one basic question for everybody who's watching, and I'm looking for one basic answer. Are you an American citizen? If you are an American citizen, you yourself may be in the crosshairs of this administration, because in that sense, you're no different than Mubashir. This is a person that was leaving for his lunch break. This was a person who was out on the street doing literally nothing wrong.
So this is why I think so many of the people, for example, in Minnesota, are so outraged and aggressive towards ICE, because someone like the mayor here runs to a microphone right after this occurs and claims to know all of the facts and just destroys ICE and makes them out to look like they've done something horrible here without even knowing the facts. The best thing for him to do would be to go to the microphone and say, look, let's see what happens when all the facts come out, and see who was in the wrong here. If ICE did something wrong, I'm going to address that with them. If this U.S. citizen that's claiming that ICE wrongfully arrested him was in the wrong, I'm going to let you know that too. But he is coming down against ICE, which I'm sure he does every time. And it's really kind of disturbing to see him do that, because he's the one, people like him are the one making it so difficult for ICE to do their job, which is trying to make his community safer than what it is now. And if you're in the country legally, if you're a U.S. citizen, you're probably in favor of ICE coming in and removing criminals from your city, and maybe others who are there illegally. So I don't like when people like the mayor here run to the microphone and just denounce ICE immediately without really giving time to let all the facts come out of what even happened here. So an unfortunate situation. We don't know much about it, but I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more in the next few days, and we'll see. For me, what they're saying happened, a little bit hard to believe, but I'm open to it. Let's see what the facts say when they come out. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.